Sharing my struggles with a disability was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. This is going to be a reasonably long video. Grab some food, grab a drink, settle back and let's have a chat. My struggle began with having an intellectual disability, something I've had my whole life. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because I feel like it can help a lot of people out there that have a similar disability to me. Or even if you don't have a disability and you're looking for some motivation, I hope I can help you. Okay, so when I was born, I was diagnosed with having mild autism and having a mild intellectual disability. The intellectual disability, what that is, it is basically where I struggle to learn. So it's almost like a learning disability. And I also struggle to communicate properly. I can hold a conversation like I'm doing now, but I can only do it for so long before I start to fade away. So that is what my intellectual disability is. I struggled to have a good education at school, and I struggled to communicate with people. Now the thing with having this disability is, unfortunately, there's no cure. This is something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I'm going to take you back, my friends, to when I was at school, okay? Let's go to Ryan Hayes, first grade, all right, if I can remember that far back. When I was in first grade, one of my biggest struggles was maths, I guess, numbers, like adding things up. And I knew that I could do maths, but it would be very hard for me. So I had to have a tutor, and that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So what ended up happening is this. I had to go into what they call a support unit, which is basically people with a disability. I had to go there to help me learn. And to be honest with you, my friends, it was a real slap in my face. It was really embarrassing for me. And if you know anyone or you yourself have a disability, let me know in the comments section. Let's talk about this. I feel like it's not talked about enough. So my education was terrible at school. I had to have tutoring and I had to be in a support unit. So that was from first grade all the way to 12th grade. Now I know some people might look at that and think, Ryan, what's wrong with that, man? For me, there was something wrong with it. I didn't like being in a support unit. I hated it. My education was so bad that to this day I struggle to learn. But it's not impossible. I mean, I can learn. Obviously, I'm learning YouTube. I've learned how to edit videos, even though I'm pretty lazy with it. I've learnt a lot. And that's why I would never ever count anyone out that has the disability. I would never do that. I believe everyone, every human being alive is capable of greatness. Seriously, I believe that, and I'll believe it forever. So many people, I feel in my heart, they judge people like me because they don't understand what it is that we can actually achieve. Like, they look at us and they write us off. Nah, you'll never be able to achieve that because of such and such. And to be totally honest with you, my friends, that really upset me. And when I say really upset me, I mean it annoyed the crap out of me. Because I know that human beings are capable of learning anything. If you're willing to put your mind to it, you can achieve any goal that you have. So yeah, it really upset me when people would look at people like me with a disability and say, no, you're not capable of that. Sorry. Why? I'm just as capable as you are, if not more so. It's not all bad though, I've got to say. One thing I like, if you can at all, one thing I like about having a disability is it makes me work harder. I've got a chip on my shoulder to prove that I belong, and I can be just as great, if not greater, than other people. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Even though society looks at people like us and shuns us, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be. And that's what I'm learning every day. I'm learning to embrace who I am, because let's face it, who I am matters more than anything, and who you are matters more than anything. And I'm starting to learn more about myself and about my disability, and know that yes, I have these struggles. I find it hard to really talk to people. I find it hard to learn a lot, but it's not impossible. And for anyone that says it is impossible for people like me to learn anything, it puts a fire in my belly, and it makes me realize, hey, you know, these people are writing me off because they don't understand what I can do. So my job is to help advocate for those that are like me, that have a disability and that have been misunderstood by society. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Struggling to make friends, for me, having this disability, yeah, it's hard to do. It is really hard for me to make friends. But again, it's not impossible. People like me, we are just as great as anyone else out there. And I'm telling you, my friends, it really annoys me when people don't think that way. You know, when people look at us and they criticize, I hate that. You don't need to do that. We can do just as great as anyone else can. So if there is anyone out there that has a disability, or you know anyone that does have one, share this video with them and realize that there's nothing that you can't achieve in this life. I'm going to give you another example. When I was born, okay, the doctors told my mother and father that I would never live a normal life. I'd never be able to walk. I'd never be able to talk. I'd never be able to be independent. And bottom line, I would never, ever be able to take care of myself. Guess what? I've done all that and then some. So I refuse to listen to that, because it's not true. Anyone can be great if they're willing to put in the work. And that's what I do every day, my friends. I put in the work, because that's what it takes to be successful. Now, like I said, my disability I will have, unfortunately, for the rest of my life. Until I die, I will have this disability. But it doesn't define me. It doesn't define what I am as a person or who I am as a person. If anything, it's made me a stronger version of myself. And in today's world, that's super important. You know, that's why I love being a social media personality, because it gives people like me a chance to still live the dream of buying a nice house one day, having money in the bank, you know, and having your freedom. I have had so many different jobs where I've had bosses that would make fun of me. I had bosses that would not treat me the way I deserved to be treated because I had a disability. And it's not right. It is just not right. It's not a good way to do things. If you have a disability, you should be treated with just the right amount of respect as I am. Everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, should be treated with respect. And you know what I've learned? If you can't get respect from people, you got to take it. Don't be afraid to take it, because that's what separates the winners from the losers. You got to be willing to put yourself out there to be seen. Again, I know I'm harping on it, but that's what separates the winners from everyone else, is believing in yourself. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. You can achieve any goal that you set. I knew my whole life that I wanted to be a YouTuber. I knew my whole life that I wanted to be in front of the camera. I had that gut feeling. I knew it. And I also understood what it would take in order to achieve that goal. It wasn't going to take me questioning myself. It wasn't going to take me not uploading videos. It was going to take action from me. And that is why I'm sharing this video, to help other people that have a disability realize their dreams. Because at the end of the day, that's what's important the most, is your happiness. And for me, to be able to help someone else out there that's struggling, that makes me happy. It really does. Makes me feel good. The world today it's a weird place, and it can be a very miserable place, and a very lonely and dark place. But if you remember who you are, and you remember why you do what you do, you can rise above anything that is thrown your way. And I know that, because I've risen above. It's not easy. You know what? You know what's so funny about being a YouTuber? I have days where I don't want to make videos. I think we all have those days where it's like, I don't want to film anything today. Guess what? That laziness could be what am I trying to say here? Your laziness could be the turning point for you actually not having success. So turn that laziness around, do whatever it is that you want to do, put your plans into action, because that's how you're going to be successful. That's what I've done, and I'm so grateful I did. I have days where I'm watching TV or I'm watching YouTube, and I think to myself, I don't want to film any content today, but I know I need to help my overall success in my life. So that's really about it, my friends. You know, don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Please don't give up on you. I know it's hard. You know, you probably think, well, Rhino, no one really cares about me. I know. I was there. I used to be there. And then I started embracing my disability. Now, here's the fun part, okay? We're going to really talk about this now. I want to still walk around, so let's go. People with a disability, I have friends that have a disability. And I can tell you what, I love those people. They are some of the most down-to-earth people you could ever want to meet. Seriously, you know, they don't take themselves too seriously, and I love that. So I will always embrace my roots and where I come from. I know that I have a disability and I'll have it forever, but focus on your abilities, not your disabilities. That's what some of my teachers tried to teach me. Focus on your abilities, not your disability, because you can achieve any goal. It wouldn't matter, okay, if you were 100% healthy. If you're not meant to achieve your goal, you won't. And that's what I've learned. I've learned the art of perseverance. I have learnt the art of dedication. I have learnt the art of not saying no. I have learnt the art, my friends, of being a relentless person, a very relentless person, to a point where I probably annoy everyone. And you know what? I'm happy about that. Good. I want to annoy you, because that means that I'm moving the needle and I am living my best life. There is not one goal in this world worth achieving without hard work. We all have to work hard. And that's what makes it so fun. So don't be afraid of it, everyone. Work hard. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a disability or you don't have a disability, who cares? Just get up every day, be a good person, work hard, and good things will come to you. I promise you, great things will come to you. Good things will come. But you've got to be willing to put in the work and realize that it ain't happening in 5 minutes. It takes years. All right, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.